Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to, well, really getting under the surface of things.
Typical.
And today, we're jumping into a field that might sound a bit niche at first glance. We've got an excerpt from an information systems course lecture.
Right. It's quite factual, direct from the source material. Not a lot of fluff here.
Exactly. So our mission today is to quickly pull out the core ideas, especially the specific distinctions and maybe some evolving language used in this area. We want you to walk away with the key takeaways.
Okay, let's get into it. This lecture comes from Dr. Rattanan Rodthong from Burapha campus. And what's clear right away is how methodically he starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first saw the course title, Information Systems for Educational and Institutional Administration, my first thought was, okay, that's a lot. Sounds pretty dense.
It does, but Dr. Thong, he doesn't just leave it there. He immediately starts, deconstructing it.
Right, he breaks it down.
Yeah, into the main components. First, obviously, information systems, that's the tech framework. Then he points out the two administrative fields, educational administration and institutional administration.
Okay, those sound distinct.
They are, but here's a key point he makes early on. Functionally, in the context of his course maybe, they often get lumped together.
Oh, my God.
Essentially under the umbrella of educational administration, it kind of simplifies the focus,
That makes a lot of sense, actually, especially for structuring a course. It tells you they're covering both, but maybe seeing them as related parts of a whole.
Exactly. It frames the scope nicely.
But then what really caught my attention was the shift from these broad definitions to something super practical.
The professional side of things.
Yeah, the actual licenses and how you progress in these fields. It wasn't quite what I might have assumed.
No, it gives you a glimpse into, well, a very structured progression, at least in the specific context he's describing.
So what does the lecture say? Which one comes first?
Okay, so according to the lecture, the license for institutional administrator, and he uses the specific Thai term, Tikinkan Chudanvan. Okay, that one is typically the first one you get.
Okay. Institutional administrator first. What does that imply, do you think? Like a school principal?
That seems like a reasonable analogy, yeah? Someone in charge of a specific institution, on-site leadership. Using the Thai term really highlights how specific these roles can be, maybe tied to local regulations or structures.
Right, it's not just a generic title. And then comes the license for educational administrator.
Correct. Come on. Now, this is the part that surprised me. Dr. Thong apparently describes the second one, the educational administrator role, not necessarily as a step up, but often as a lower level or maybe a deputy role compared to the institutional one you get first. Yeah, that's a fascinating distinction, isn't it? It suggests maybe the institutional administrator is the direct head, like the principal example, and the educational administrator might be involved in, say, broader district-level policy or curriculum across several schools, kind of a supporting or system-level role.
Almost like a different kind of role, not just higher or lower on the same ladder.
Yeah.
Maybe more strategic, less direct management.
That's a good way to put it. It highlights that professional paths aren't always just climbing vertically. Sometimes it's about different scopes of responsibility. You get the foundational on-site license, then maybe move into something with broader oversight.
It really paints a clearer picture of how leadership might be structured there.
Definitely context specific.
Okay, so we have the structure, the roles, the licensing path. But there was also something about the language itself changing.
Ah, yes. The terminology. That was another interesting nugget in the lecture.
What was it?
Well, the instructor points out that historically the word administration was standard, educational administration.
Right. Seems normal.
But he notes that now, looking at his slides even, the term management is popping up more and more frequently.
Administration versus management.
Yeah.
Okay, is that just like a stylistic choice? Or does it mean something more?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? It's often not just semantics. A shift from administration to management can sometimes signal a change in thinking.
How so? Like administration sounds more maybe bureaucratic, following the rules, keeping things running smoothly.
Possibly, yeah. A bit more passive, maybe. Whereas management often implies something more active.
More active, like strategic planning, hitting targets, optimizing resources.
Yeah, exactly. More about actively driving things, achieving specific outcomes, rather than just overseeing existing processes.
So it could suggest the field itself is shifting its focus. Less about maintenance, more about improvement in results.
That's certainly one interpretation. It could reflect broader trends, in how we think about leadership in complex organizations like schools or school systems. Maybe a move towards being more dynamic, more focused on performance.
Interesting how just a single word choice can hint at all that.
Language evolves, and it often reflects underlying shifts in practice or philosophy.
So there you have it. Just by digging into this short lecture excerpt, we've actually uncovered quite a bit, haven't we?
I think so.
We've got the structure of the field, these really specific professional roles, and how you progress through them, like that license sequence.
The institutional, then educational distinction.
And even the subtle but potentially significant shift in language from administration towards management. It shows how much you can learn from just looking closely at how an expert presents their field.
Absolutely. Even seemingly dry academic material can be quite revealing.
It really can.
And maybe a final thought for you to consider listening to this. How do these kinds of details, the specific way licenses are structured, or that subtle change in terminology, how do they reflect bigger ideas about how we as a society view educational leadership? What priorities are embedded in calling someone an administrator versus a manager? And looking ahead, what might this mean for the future? How will things like information systems need to change to support leadership that might be becoming, more dynamic or results focused?
That's a great question to leave things on. Lots to think about there.